Hi, I'm Jeff Halevy. I'm taking a fitness cue from our Stone Age ancestors with a full-on primitive fitness routine that'll whip you into shape right in your own home. We are going primal today, so get set to hunt, gather, and gear up with a caveman workout. Today on Workout from Within. We're putting the fun back in fitness, not to your chest, but more to your hip area. There you go. That's it, let's go, come on. You gotta live it. Back in the day, cavemen had to work hard to build shelter, find food, and outrun their not-so-friendly neighbors, maybe even dinosaurs, in order to survive. Tons of rigorous activity every single day, even if it was all in a day's work. Here to take some caveman-inspired fitness cues from me is Todd. Welcome, Todd.
How are you?
Good to see you. So, Todd, you're looking to, I guess, get a little more primal with your workouts. You work out regularly already. You're looking to spice it up.
Yeah, get rid of the routine.
Okay, break out of the routine. Well, I think there's no better way to do it than with some caveman-inspired fitness. So all of the exercises we're going to do are going to be caveman-ish. So that might mean that there could be replicate something that a caveman did, or maybe even one of our modern-day strongmen.
Okay.
All right? So the first one that we're going to do is, it's still very caveman-like, is going to be replicating the Atlas Stone competition from the World's Strongest Man. Okay?
Yeah.
Have you seen that before?
Yeah, except I'm not this big.
You don't need to be that big. The beauty is we're going to use slightly lighter weights, slightly.
Okay.
I mean, these guys are lifting like 300-400 pounds off the ground. We're going to go a little lighter. We have stairs set up right over here, and I'm just going to move you over here for a second because this is going to be our start position.
Okay.
All right, and what we're going to do is we're going to be using cinder blocks instead of those enormous Atlas stones.
Which is why I got the gloves on.
That's why we have the gloves on.
Good.
Cinder blocks without gloves tear hands. Okay.
Yeah, okay.
So what we're gonna do is I'm just gonna set the first one up for you right over here. All right. Now what I'd like you to do is you're going to, I'll demonstrate first, but you're gonna run. You don't have to run, but walk quickly over.
Right.
Okay. Place it on the first step. You're going to come back. The second cinder block will be ready for you. You're going to place it on the third step. Okay?
So this is like my basement, basically. I'm picking up a cinder block
Exactly.
and putting it on the basement stairs, and
That's the idea.
I got it. All right.
And then the third one is going to be our heaviest one, which is a bag of fertilizer. Okay? Let's make sure that doesn't rip open.
Okay.
And we're going to be putting it on the highest step.
Okay.
We're going to try and do it for time. I'm not going to time you, but if you were doing this on your own, you try to do it as quickly as possible. Okay? So as soon as you're ready, on your mark, get set, go. First one down. Let's set up the second one. Right back. Good, and now you're gonna climb both of those for your third one. Make sure you pick it up easy, there we go. Step, step, step on the top and walk back down carefully and bring it back. So as you might notice, this is something that can get your heart rate up very, very quickly.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, so the combination of having to bend down and pick something up and move it over can be taxing, even when you're just moving 3 objects in a row. I don't expect it to be that bad. If I had you doing this, though, for 10 minutes,
it'd be a killer.
I guarantee that you'd be, you wouldn't want to go to that 11th minute.
Yeah,
okay?
absolutely.
Now, the next exercise that we have is going to be very similar to another strongman competition. Now, look, cavemen had to pick stuff up all the time, even just to build shelter, okay? And the next exercise we have is going to be similar to the World's Strongest Man competition, where they have this deadlift where they actually pick up a car. All right, you're not going to pick up a car.
Good.
But you are going to pick up the sofa. All right. So what I'm going to have you do is go ahead and just slide back this way. You're going to go back to the sofa, around over here. Okay. And we have some rope attached to the bottom of the sofa. And this is great too. If someone says, well, move that sofa, you can make a little exercise out of it.
Just wind these up?
Yep, just wind them up just a little bit. Now take a little bit of a step forward, and you're going to do a deadlift pattern. So you want to make sure your lower back is arched, which means it's concave. You're going to push your hips back, and then with long, straight arms, you're just going to pull the sofa up. Okay, so it's not excellent, that's perfect,
Great.
okay? So this is not a biceps exercise. This is actually a deadlift. It's for the lower body, so go all the way down to the ground. Now the fun part of this is if you have kids, kids love to jump on the sofa and have a good time while you're doing this. They get to go on a fun ride while you're getting a workout. So this is a great exercise to bring the kids into. And the truth of the matter is, you really don't even have to worry about ruining, and you can go ahead and rest there for a moment.
You're going to guarantee that I'm not going to ruin the sofa.
You will not ruin the sofa doing this. If you set it up the way that I did, I use nylon rope, so nylon rope won't scuff or mar anything. This is actually very, if you feel it, you felt it in your hand, it's very soft. And this is just a great way to get your kids in. And look, if they're sitting on the couch playing video games or watching TV, you want them off, I say start deadlifting the sofa.
Good.
Now, the last one that we have, we're gonna get super manly, okay? This last one, and where is my implement? I'm just gonna have you hang here for a second. We've got, there's nothing more manly than a heavy chain, okay? So what I'm gonna have you do is go ahead and step in front of me. Okay, so just stand right there for a second. And you're actually about to get a suit of armor. And we're going to be using this to weight your body while we do some exercises. Now, a lot of guys have chains hanging around in their basement. I'm gonna just go one more time for safety. Have chains hanging around in their basement. If you could pass the other one through, that's, oh, yeah, we're gonna loop it. I'll tell you what, we'll just do this. Really doesn't make a difference how you do it. And what we're going to do is we're gonna use this for a push-up, okay? So now that I have this on, I'm gonna make sure that this stays secure on you. And I'd like you to just go ahead and set up for a push-up. I'm gonna hold on just for now, just to make sure that it doesn't slide. Now, you're a strong guy. You're gonna notice that there's quite a bit of an added challenge the second you have these chains hanging from you. So let's go ahead. Just like that. That's a perfect push-up too, by the way. Excellent form. Now, the reason that it's great to weight a chest exercise like this is a closed chain exercise, which means that the object that you're pushing against doesn't move. When you do a bench press, obviously the bar moves. The floor does not move. This is much easier on the joints and much safer in many ways. So if you're rehabbing a shoulder injury or just want to keep it safe, this is perfect. All right, Todd, let me just help you up over there. And as you can see, with the chain shifting around.
Yeah, it's a great extra. It's an added challenge.
It's definitely different than, you know, your good old bench press.
Yeah.
Very good job. And Todd is going to be sticking around with us as we kick it up a notch. And later on, food cues from our ancestors with the paleo diet. Excellent job. You'll see that when you have it. Welcome back. I've been accused of thinking like a caveman before, and I usually get insulted when people say that. But today it's going to come in handy because we're going back in time with a caveman-style workout with a little extra muscle and a few things from around the house. I'm imitating their rigorous regimen. Todd is back to help me out. Welcome back, Todd.
How you doing?
Good. You ready to get into it?
Yes.
All right, cool. Because I have some very manly stuff that we're going to be doing.
Good.
Okay. So the first thing we have is we have a cinder block pulley set up in the doorway. So I'm going to ask you to actually just go ahead and step through the doorway here for a minute, okay? And as you see, I have a rope set up, tied to a cinder block. And we're going over a chin-up bar, which you can really get anywhere, and I think should be a staple in most people's households. If you don't have one, there's always a place to hang it in a garage or somewhere where you can secure it. So I'm going to have you from here actually take a seat. Okay? You can use that as a counterbalance. You're going to sit down first and bring it in just a little bit, okay?
Yeah.
Right there is good. And what I'd like you to do is first we're going to start by lowering it. Let's get it back down to the ground, all right? And you're going to reach and go hand over hand to pull it back up, just like that. Okay? Back down as soon as we hit the top. That's it. And now this is obviously a great exercise for all the muscles of the back that you use to pull, but this is also a pretty tough cardio workout. If you do this for intervals, you will see that you will not last all that long. And it's great because you don't need any fancy equipment. You could just use the cinder block. Excellent. I'm going to have you step back through.
It's just like the rope exercise at the gym.
They have one like this?
Yeah, the big rope machines.
So we have our next exercise set up over here. Now, this next exercise, look, cavemen didn't have tires.
Right.
And they certainly didn't have sledgehammers, but we're going to be using both. And we are going to do, once again, a very manly exercise, okay? The idea of this exercise, and I'm going to pass this over to you in just a moment, is to drive the tire across the floor. Okay, so we're going to be driving it across the floor. Once it gets to the other side, you notice there's a rope affixed over here, okay? Now, I stole this from the MMA, mixed martial artists, who now compete. They do this as a conditioning drill. So they drive, you know, a tire across a parking lot, and then they reel it back with the rope, run back out, et cetera, et cetera. I'm going to pass this over to you. Okay. So I'd like you to set up just like that. And you're going to swing again, not with the broad side of the tire, but that's it. And you're going to drive it across in a very manly and caveman way, just like that, One more swing. Now come back with the sledgehammer. Bring it back. You're going to park yourself down and reel it back in. And when you're really doing this, so let's go one more time. You're going to actually try in. And when you're really doing this, so let's go one more time. You're going to actually try and do this as quickly as possible. So we're going for speed here as well. That's it. Todd's got a nice big manly swing. There we go. Bring it back. It's actually very impressive. And bring it back in. Perfect.
That's
okay.
Good.
And once again, I'll give you a hand up. This is something that really, I mean, anybody who doesn't have something like this hanging around in their garage or elsewhere, tire, rope, these are all things that you can get. And the nice thing about the tire is it's something you can get for free. Go to any junkyard. They'll be more than happy to dish a used tire
and a good sandbag on the inside.
Yes, and if you can always add a little bit of weight to that exercise as well. So the next exercise we have up is something that is very appropriately entitled a warrior press, okay? Warriors constantly in cavemen were throwing spears. We're not going to throw this anywhere today. But what we're going to do is grasp this pipe, which weighs about 20 pounds, okay? So it's not going to be incredibly heavy, but a little bit of a challenge. And the reason it's a challenge is because you obviously need control from the wrist all the way down. So this is great for shoulder stability as well. And from here, we're just going to press it straight up like that. Now, if you want to get a little fancy, you can even turn it into a push press. So you're going to dip down a little bit and punch it up, okay? A little heavy, so just be careful. Okay, so from here, just straight presses to start. Let's just do straight presses to start because you're pretty strong, so I know you got that easy. And now what we'll do is we'll go into the push press, okay? So push press, so jump into it. You want to jump and punch. There you go. Exactly. And let's try a few on the other side just to keep things even. That's it, and let's try a few. There you go. Jump and punch at the same time. Now, what I like to do as well, and we'll just grab that for a second, is I'm going to ask you to take a half kneeling position. So I want you to have one leg forward, one leg back, exactly, almost like you're doing a lunge. I'm going to place this back into your left hand. Now, one of the issues that many people encounter when they press things overhead is they get a lot of hip wiggle. When you're in this position, it's much harder to wiggle your hips around, okay? So what I want you to do is staying very tight over here, I want you to go ahead and press straight overhead. So you get all the same benefits. And I'm gonna even change, you wanna make sure it's centered. Change your lockout position to over here, okay? You feel the difference there? So now you really feel your core kicking in. That's excellent. Good, and let's try a few on the other side because I see you're really getting the benefit of this exercise as well.
It's a good hip flex stretcher too.
Yes, so you'll definitely, I love this position because you get a lot of benefits out of it. Not only from hip stability, but also stretching the hips as well. That's it. Let's get like 4 or 5 reps here. And you're doing an excellent job. See, what you're doing, Todd, so well right now is you're staying perfectly fixed over here. When guys are up lots of times, and you can go ahead and stand up. I'll show you what guys do lots of times. I see this in the gym constantly, is they do like standing shoulder presses, and it turns into a chest press, only on their feet.
We'll be back.
Todd, you were a stud today. You were super manly. Thank you so much for coming by. Coming up next, we have a meal fit for a caveman with the paleo diet. Today we're talking about caveman workouts. Did you know that there is a new diet that is gaining popularity where people eat like cavemen? It's called the paleo diet. And here to explain the pros and cons of eating like the Flintstones is fitness coach Christian Fox. Welcome, Christian.
Thank you.
So talk to me. What is the paleo diet?
So paleo diet, kind of in a nutshell, is meats, vegetables, some fruits, some seeds and oils and stuff like that inside there. It's pretty much inclusive to animal food, vegetable food. Main exclusions would be grains and dairy for most people.
And what's the basis, I guess, of the paleo diet?
The basis, I mean, well, if you call it a paleo diet, you're really talking about what did our Paleolithic ancestors eat.
Right.
But in a more modern sense, you're eating foods that weren't around, more than 1,000 years ago. Things that we kind of evolved to eat.
Okay, and how do we know for sure, because this is a highly controversial topic, as I'm sure you're aware. How do we know for sure what cavemen ate?
I don't know if we can know for sure, but to me it doesn't really matter. If you're eating foods that are healthy for you and are not processed and are going to affect your body favorably, then that's enough evidence for me, I guess.
That makes sense to me, yeah. Now, what are some of the benefits of going paleo?
Well, in general, you're eating a clean diet, so you're removing refined carbohydrate from your diet. Obesity and overweight is a large problem in our country, so this obviously is going to help a lot of people to reduce excess body fat by not taking in a bunch of junk calories. And we see decreases in inflammation and stuff like that. People wind up going off of diabetes meds, and when they start to eat clean and they avoid junk foods. And that's pretty much what paleo is.
So the basis, and when you say eating clean, just to clarify for our viewers, what we mean is we're avoiding refined foods. So most of our food supply right now is heavily refined, manufactured, stripped down, built back up, and we're saying, okay, we're going to go back to basics in many ways.
Yeah, that's a great way to say it. We're taking exactly what you have over here.
So yeah, I was going to say, so walk me through what we've got, because this is very much back to basics.
Yeah, this is pretty much it here. We've got a piece of steak over in the middle. This is definitely something that our caveman ancestors would have eaten, I guess. Some fruits over here when they could find them in seasonable weather.
And what type of, this is just regular cut of steak? Or?
Yeah, this looks like a T-bone over here, regular cut of steak, grilled. Definitely we could eat that. Some apples, bananas, carrots, greens, some seeds for some healthy fat.
Here's a big question everybody's watching this has. We all hear that steak is bad for us. Is it?
Not in my circle. Steak isn't really bad for you.
Okay, so talk
yeah,
to
we're
me about why.
definitely eating red meat, pork, chicken, fish, anything that used to, crawl, swim, fly is pretty much okay in the caveman.
And that's so contrary to the advice, because we hear about saturated fat and, so is it safe? Can we feel free to eat the steak?
What we've seen is that it's safe, and if somebody says otherwise, I ask them how that's working for them, and if the trend has been to eat a bunch of grains and a bunch of processed foods, and that's not working out too well, then it might be time to try something different.
There are a number of other diets out there that suggest, I guess, eating clean, since we use that term. There's like the South Beach diet, a few other ones. How does this really differ from those diets?
I'd say it's really more similar than different. There are a lot of boundaries that are within the same realm over there. South Beach, I believe, uses some fake sweeteners and some grains and stuff like that in there. But most of the overlying things are really pretty much the same in there.
And I mean, the other thing to me is also, it doesn't seem like this is a diet. It's more like keeping it real, So you want real foods. All you're doing is you're really...
Yeah, the term diet really kind of makes people think that this is something they're going to do for a short time and then go back to what they did before once they, accomplish what they want. But really, we try to look at it as more of a lifestyle. It's more of a paleo lifestyle where you eat healthy, move healthy, and wind up being healthy.
A number of nutritionists have said that cutting out grains, cutting out dairy can lead to certain nutritional deficiencies. Have you seen that in your experience with the paleo diet?
Not at all. I can't think of a single thing that you would get from dairy or grains that you couldn't get by excluding those things.
Okay. And when you're on the paleo diet, then, is there any need for supplements of any kind, or are you really just getting everything that you need?
I would say that if you're on a paleo diet and you're eating, grass-fed animals and organic produce, then you probably could get everything that you need from food. But a multivitamin or an omega-3 fat supplement probably wouldn't be a hurtful thing, and lots of our folks do. And
that's a tip that I suggest to everyone: is take a reputable multivitamin every single day. And fish oil is the other big one. You a fan of fish oil?
Yeah, big fan of fish oil.
Okay, huge fan of fish oil. Helps fight inflammation. There are a number of other benefits as well. I guess the very last question that I have is, are there any, do you get to cheat a little bit on this?
Yeah, sure.
So obviously this is about back to basics, keeping it real, keeping it clean. Can I still sneak in a slice of pizza and a beer occasionally?
Yeah, sure, every now and then. I think you'd be better off maybe having some tacos and a margarita to avoid the gluten that's in there. But, definitely most people that are following this type of diet are definitely sneaking in a cheat every now and then. Or not sneaking it, but having this.
So you don't have to go over. This doesn't have to become your religion.
No, definitely not a religion.
Christian, thank you so much for joining us. Coming up next, the right gear to stock a fitness man cave. Welcome back. We've been taking our fitness cues from cavemen today, and any good caveman knows how to stock his man cave. Today we did a lot of cool exercises using objects that you probably already have around your house. Who doesn't have a sledgehammer or some type of hammer, or maybe an axe? Go and chop wood. People did that for centuries, and they were quite fit by doing activities like that. And while they didn't have rubber tires centuries ago, they're incredibly useful to use. And guess what? Most places will unload them on you for free, e.g. they cost nothing. so there's no reason not to use them. The chains are tons of fun. The cinder blocks, another one. I challenge you to not find the cinder block in your garage or your backyard or laying around somewhere on a construction site. Cinder blocks are all over the place, and even if you need to buy one, they're very, very cheap. And also get creative. Right here I have a bag of soil. I've got a duffel bag. You don't want to get yourself dirty whipping around the bag of soil, lifting it. Go ahead, throw it into a duffel bag, and guess what? You've got yourself a really great weight that you can throw, you can press, you can push, you can pull, you can do a million things with. The point about all of these is that they are inexpensive, if not free. You probably already have them, and they're easy to use. And most importantly, when you make it fun, it's the easiest way to pull your kids in. Turn your family into the Flintstones. It's good for them and it's good for you. And remember, it's not all about working out. A healthy lifestyle comes from within. And the easier you make it, the more you'll win. I'm Jeff Halevy. I'll see you next time on Workout from Within.